Hey, welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. Coyote in the Highlands. Still in the valley, still shaking my camera tripod. It's really interesting working with this low-tech equipment all the time and being able to just kind of float around and sit out and do videos wherever. The parks are very difficult because there's a lot more early risers than there used to be. There's a lot more population than there used to be, and it's really disturbing and very weird to adapt to. And it's one of the things we're going to talk about right now is population dynamics and how this affects your positive life changes. Your goal here is to have a good life, to have a valuable life, internally valuable life. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you're externally valuable. I don't care if society and the media, the corporate media, decides that you're a good bug eater or a bad bug denier or whatever. None of that matters to me. It's your internal life. And we're having a population problem in a lot of areas. We are definitely feeling it. I've just spent a week in an area where I grew up, where I could wander parks and have reasonably large amounts of privacy for hours on end when I was younger. And the parks haven't grown with the population. This is a significant social problem that I think we have to address. The parks haven't grown with the population. The wilderness areas, the accessible areas, have not grown with the population. So I just want to bring that out there. But that's not really what the video is about. The video is about positivity in more crowded environments. What do you do? Well, in a previous video I talked about granting humanity, noticing everybody and granting humanity, and that's a really good exercise. Now, can you grant humanity to others without getting stuck on them? Can you walk without being overly influenced by the presence of other human beings? Some of this is the confidence. Remember, I talked about simplicity and being able to walk without a whole bunch of stuff at one point. Well, this applies to walking around lots of other people. People often need a little bit of security feeling, whether it's a can of mace or a weapon or having a backpack or an escape route or whatever. This stuff is there. And you can actually habituate that some of those things so that they are not stressful or impactful to your consciousness. So that's actually pretty cool. But these are things where does the presence of other people affect your being, your experience of reality? How do you maintain positivity in a crowd? A constant crowd, a crowd that you haven't chosen to be in, a crowd in the grocery store, a crowd in the traffic, a crowd in the park, a crowd when you're trying to walk down your stairs in an apartment complex, if that's what you do, whatever. How do you maintain that? Neighbors who are loud, we have a lot of stuff around this. Well, one of the things to do is realize that all the negativity is inside, so there's that. Getting exposed to the outdoors, even if there's a lot of people around, is going to help immensely in a basic neurological, psychological sense. You are developed, adapted, evolved to open spaces and trees and all that stuff, all the outside stuff. So try to work on that. One of the best things to do is get out and go for a walk. And that's basically where this video is going to end up going, is go for a walk. Even if it's crowded, go for a walk. Try to not have a bunch of stuff to worry about. So that's one thing. If you're carrying a bunch of bags and pouches and stuff and tools and everything, go with the minimum amount of stuff. That helps your security when there's a lot of people around, because the minimum amount of stuff doesn't mean you can't go with necessary stuff. It's just pare it down. It makes you less of a target for a lot of things. It makes people notice you less. Sometimes you just don't want to be noticed. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. A lot of people dress flamboyantly sometimes just to get the attention or to show a personality thing or to tell a story. We're not here to tell a story, we're here to have positive enlightenment. And that doesn't mean you have to be drab by any means or anything. Just, you don't have to, if you're having problems with the number of people around you and it's having an effect, infecting your space, then perhaps not making yourself the center of attention is a way to go. That's possible. You certainly can't blame other people for reacting to you if you do make yourself the center of attention. You can have expectations on what kind of reactions and what's socially acceptable behavior and everything, but your responses are internal to you. So that's all in you. And I'm not doing a very good job of describing the problem, so let's back up a step. People are not built, evolved, psychologically developed to exist in large, huge groups of strangers on a constant basis. You need to have your space, your privacy, your stuff. How much you need depends on how adapted you are and what your internal world looks like and how you respond. You can, of course, overcome and program yourself to enjoy the crowd of strangers on a constant basis. You can do that. People do that all the time. So but if it's not helping you, if you're not like, woohoo, celebrate the pile of humanity, every moment you're outside of your house, then maybe you need to look at the biological and neurological aspects of this and see what you can do. One of the things to do is to increase your sense of personal ownership and completeness. That's the video where I talked about going for walks with nothing and developing that sense of competence and confidence and completeness without a bunch of stuff. That helps a lot. And another thing to do is to just get outside and move. These are the two main things. You need to get outside and move where you can see some sky, some green. I've never enjoyed living in very dense urban areas like in downtown Philadelphia or New York City. I've been to these places, or Toronto. Toronto has some really dense areas too. I've spent a lot of time there. These kinds of things are not, that's not what I mean. If you can, get out a little bit, get out to a park, get out to, even if it's a crowded park, get out to some place. Out here, in a place that has suburbs, you have, especially older suburbs that are not the 1980s walled communities, 1980s, 90s ticky-tack developments. Even there you have some. You have a lot of space that you can walk. You can walk on the sidewalk, you can walk on the side of the road, whatever. You can walk and see trees and sky. Do that. It doesn't have to be a park. I'm in an area where half of the houses are barren. Most of the rest have a limited amount of trees and vegetarians, but about 5% of the houses are like these jungle gardens. I'm in an area where SRP does residential irrigation, or people used to sign up for it. It still happens, I still see it going on. But there's, we've had irrigation systems out here for 60, 80 years, whatever. And people water their stuff and take care of their gardens, and that's fine. There's always water available for that. I'm not going to get into the water wars debates right now. But, you've got these pocket gardens that are just insane out here. Down the street I was walking this morning, I counted 12 pomegranate trees, a couple of bananas, an avocado, of all things, and some orange trees just in this one little postage stamp front yard. And there was hugel culture, like obvious hugel culture work going on the edges, and this little old lady out there watering. And I just told her it was beautiful and gorgeous, and I love what she was doing, because you got to say something. And, you can experience all this. You get out and take the walk, and you can experience more. Get out of your neighborhood if you have to. I have driven miles to get to a decent neighborhood to just walk on the sidewalks. That's happened in my life. So the point here is, how do you do this when there's too many people around? And the way is to just get out and walk. This is the main thing. Walking, even in a city, in an urban environment, is primarily an activity that gets you out of the mass of humanity. So try that out. This is it's a Band-Aid, it's a thing, but try it out. Try to get yourself going. Try to focus on the things that are around you that you see. You know, we're not working on the people right now. We're working on trees, grass, bollards, you know, poles to keep cars from driving on the sidewalk, whatever it is that's around you. You know, I can see the magic in concrete, so try to see the magic in concrete. You know, get your awareness expanded and moving. That's it. Stay sideways.